don't smell as bad or need to be lit in order
Okay,
to
here we
use.
go.
People
Now
also
you
argue
have
it's
my
cheaper
voice.
to
You
use
can hear me
alcohols than
cry
to
and
smoke
scream.
cigarettes. And this article says they're great for smuggling substances. But look at all this advertising. In the UK, laws around advertising and selling cigarettes are extremely strict. You can't advertise them, and they have to be sold in this really boring coloured box with a fairly graphic warning on the front to tell you what the dangers are of cigarettes and hopefully scare younger people away from buying them. These are fairly new laws, and just a few years ago when I was in my teens, it was possible to buy a pack of cigarettes for around £4 or £5, and you could get 10 in a pack, so they were very accessible to new smokers. They also came with a minty menthol flavour to kind of mask that nasty taste for the first few months of the addiction. You can't just spend £4 on a flavoured pack of 10 anymore. It's around £10 for the smallest number, which is a 20 pack. Making it far less accessible for most young smokers or would-be smokers. Contrast this with Elf Bar.
It's like getting
Cool
lung cancer.
advertising in brightly coloured boxes available for just £4. They're extremely accessible and kind of appealing. They have so many different flavours so that you don't have that horrible taste to put you off. And they don't smell bad in public, so they're more socially acceptable. It's been presented as this safe way to smoke. Sure, for smokers who want to quit cigarettes, this is certainly safer than cigarettes, but maybe not the most environmentally friendly option. But whatever they put in their Twitter bio, I don't believe that Elf Bars are really out to help people stop smoking. And I don't believe that they're not aiming it at young non-smokers to get them hooked on nicotine. The real issue here, however, is social media.
No, the real issue here is that these things fucking die so easily, and there's like, cigarettes don't die. You kill them. You burn them. Might as well get some cigarettes then.
9 PM or to remove certain ads from magazines. But to control what individual people on an international social media website.
If I close my eyes, it almost feels like a woman.
Much more difficult. And that's how these companies are getting through to these young audiences. Just search Elf Bar Hall on TikTok and you'll be surprised with how many videos you're inundated with. To me, this is reminiscent of all the advertisements that so many groups have worked very hard to ban. Fred Flintstone smoking a cigarette at the end of an episode, a character many children likely looked up to, is surely the equivalent of today when your favourite influencer takes out an Elf Bar on their stream. And just compare these two advertisements for a second. The style has changed, of course, but the message is the same. And look, my issue here is not with the young people that are taking money from these companies. People need money. It's the companies that are taking advantage of these people and manipulating them with false lies. The more and more I look at this, the more convinced I am that the people behind these products are extremely sinister. Dr. Gareth Nye from Chester University warned of the potential long-term health implications. He said, despite vaping being a huge benefit to many people, the shocking increase in non-smokers and
talk about the short term.
Picking up these products means we need to seriously consider the way it's advertised and sold. How easy is it to
talk about the short term fucking elf problems?
And very quickly become hooked on the enormous amount of nicotine in the product. This is an attempt by big tobacco and tech companies to get a whole new generation hooked on nicotine.
Doesn't work.
They're doing it amazingly well.
Doesn't
These
work.
things are more addictive, and the UK sales have gone up 883%
Still not fucking
as
de-stressed.
in just 1 year. That's crazy. That's such a high number. But I should also say there's a huge number of fake Elf and Geek bars on the market, which won't be abiding by EU and UK law and could potentially be far more dangerous than the branded Elf and Geek bars that you can get in most shops. So what makes these so addictive?
Yeah, they sell the Mexican ones at the liquor store. There's nothing wrong with them.
I always smoke when I work. They go together.
Well, a traditional cigarette has 10 to 12 milligrams of nicotine in it, and you'll inhale about 1.5 milligrams of that when smoking one cigarette. An Elf Bar has around 2 milligrams of nicotine sold. This is the equivalent of around 20 milligrams of nicotine. Oh, and that's just in the UK and EU where restrictions are much stronger. In the US, they can be far stronger than that. Most sources claim that one Elf Bar 600 is the equivalent of smoking 48 cigarettes. And some people go through one every 1 or 2 days. People who've never even picked up a cigarette before. 48 cigarettes would cost you well over £20 in the UK. Add this to the convenience and a nice taste and the fact that they don't smell in public, you don't need to like them. Addiction to these things is so likely. This is all not to mention the actual health implications of disposable vapes. Sure, they are healthier than cigarettes. They don't have tar or carbon monoxide. But that doesn't mean to say they're good for you or at all even safe.
Why don't you settle back and have a full flavored smoke? Settle back.
Settle back like this.
First of all, the number one health implication
Is that
is
good?
increased
Is that how you
tooth
do it?
loss, bad breath, dry
It's
mouth.
uncomfortable.
There's also evidence linking it to mouth cancer.
I don't know about all that. Settle back.
Then there's the potential respiratory
Almost hit the fucking
implications.
back part of my
Dr.
head.
Fry said that inhaling
Settle
nicotine
back.
causes a reaction from the immune system. Your body's
Same
natural
fucking
response is
hand
to
again.
eliminate the foreign body, but in turn this causes damage to the lung. According to Cancer Research UK, there's currently no solid evidence that vaping can cause lung cancer, but it's far too soon to say for sure. They do also say that e-cigarettes should only be used by those who want to transition from cigarettes to quit smoking, not by those who have never smoked before. There are still toxic chemicals in e-cigarettes. Given all this, why the push to sell these highly addictive, brightly coloured and interestingly flavoured disposable vapes? Surely if the entire reason was just to transition people away from smoking to eventually quit, they
Because
wouldn't
they're
make
the
them
future.
so vibrant. They
Interesting.
wouldn't make them taste so interesting. They wouldn't create this fun culture around them. Well, it may answer your question when I tell you how much the UK tobacco industry is worth. In 2021, it was valued
You know
at
how much the drug market's gonna be worth once
pounds.
Neuralink
And
becomes
that's been
standard?
declining steadily since 2000.
Alright, we got this drug. It'll
And this
fucking
was
make
the
things
industry
orange for you.
from
Yeah,
2005
here you
to
go.
2009. The industry needed a
Oh
new
yeah,
product.
this one makes you
Vaping was
green,
good, but it
totally.
wasn't
Fuck,
the
they ran
same.
out of all the
People were
colors.
returning
Alright, now let's do
regularly
shapes
with
now.
repeat
Okay.
customers. They wanted
Do some
cigarettes.
shapes for you. You're
Disposable
fucking
vapes
druggy, here you
were
go.
on the market. Apples weren't the first
Alright,
disposable
fuck, we ran out of
vapes.
shapes.
They were
Alright, let's
originally
combine
created
them.
in the early 2000s
That
by
we have
Chinese
way more
Hong
options
Lee.
that way.
His father died
We'll
when
do
he was
green
from smoking. He
circles,
wanted to create a
blue
safer
circles,
to
and purple
help
circles.
quit. The original intention was true and kind-hearted, but of
We
course
ran
that
out
can
of
stay
those
pure
now. Fuck.
long. The two biggest tobacco sellers in the UK.
It was a great run.
Their brands of e-cigarettes.
Now let's add music to it. We'll sign a deal with fucking
It's
Warner
owned by
Bros.
a Chinese tech giant and come under scrutiny many times by various public health charities for touting UK and EU law on the advertising, sale and supply of nicotine products. According to The Guardian, influencers have claimed to have been paid to promote these products and receive free products in return. I found numerous TikToks claiming this. This becomes even scarier when you realise that half of 18 to 11-year-olds in the UK use TikTok, and that jumps to 75% when you're looking up to 16-year-olds. Children are inundated with videos of these products, and probably in the hands of the people that they're looking up to on these platforms. Furthermore, they're seen by so many young people as an alternative, healthier option to even regular vaping. The goal here is clear. Turn a whole new generation of people on to nicotine. What are the statistics though? Is this really resulting in more children using headphones and disposable vapes in general? Well, here you go. According to a survey in the UK by Ash Smoke Free, in 2022, the use of vapes by under 18 has doubled between 2021 and 2022. With use among 18-year-olds jumping from 9% to around 21%, from 6 to 9% for 16 to 18-year-olds, and scarily from 2 to 4% for all 11 to 15-year-olds. 4% doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 160,000 children between the ages of 11 and 15. And these figures are growing. Okay, so what about the environment?
If you suffer from diabetes, you may qualify to receive exclusive new medication and earn up to $6,895. Call the number.
Probably not. We'll give you the 6,000, but afterwards. Alright. Meanwhile, afterwards. So we looked at your file, and you're actually only eligible to make like 1,000. Sorry. Yeah, we're gonna take your plasma too, but don't let anyone know it's standard practice to reuse dirty needles and fucking infected medicine that they used on fucking AIDS people and shit. Don't let anyone know that, so we save money, cut corners and stuff, and make more. How do you think we can afford to give you money for your plasma? By using the plasma? No! No, that's called the bottom line. We're trying to cut upfront costs. Welcome to hell.
shower among the drenched roses, the bird thrashing in the bath.
Oh, this is so nice.
A robin hops along the bench. The barn swimming in a sea of windblown leaves. The tree looks like a dog barking at heaven. The winter fly has died of old age. Petrels on the fog-eaten wave valleys idly sing themselves asleep. Dipped in Ancient Inkle, the flammed of Tim, the Anglo-Saxon maneuvers of old poetos. Dead already and dead again. Blackbird. Bluebird. Snap your finger. Stop the world. Only more leaves fell. I know, boy, what's I talking about, cause I made the world, and when I made it, I know I had it. Lucian Midnight for my name, you concocted up a world so nothing, you had forever thereafter make believe it's real. The valor of angels in valleys of hell on earth below. Wild night charioteerings across the ghosts in white horses. Caresses of cups and figs in the lull of heroes. A phallic classical fate in the gray plain to the sea.
Should've fucking played that. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Praised be man. He is existing in milk and living in lilies. Praised be the unfolded inside petal, flesh of tenderest thought. Praised be the non-ending, illusion, the ripple. Praised be my fellow man for dwelling in milk. Praised be honey at the source. Praised be the lights of Earthman. Praised be I.
That's where Dead Already and Dead Again comes in. You already said that though.
Praised be the holy ocean of eternity. Pianist was only pounding the keys with spread-eagled fingers, chords only. Chinese chords. They shuddered the piano and every timber, chink, and wire. Boing. Wow, said Dean. He was rubbing his chest, his belly, his t-shirt was out. The sweat splashed from his face. Blow, man, blow. The beheaded tenor man was blowing at the peak of a wonderfully satisfactory free idea. Everybody was rocking and roaring. Our girls, Galatea and Alice, with beers in their hands, were standing on the chairs, shaking and jumping. Groups of colored studs stumbled in from the street, falling over one another to get there. Stay with it, man, roared a man with a false one voice, and let out a big groan that would have been heard clear to Sacramento. kicking his drums down the cellar and rolling the beat upstairs with his murderous sticks, rattle-de-boom. Crash, rattle-de-boom, crash, uproars of music. Big fat man was jumping on the platform, making it sag and creak. Woo! And the tenor man had it, and everybody knew he had it. A rising and falling riff that went from Iya to a crazier Ilion, and blasted along to the rolling crash of butt-scarred drums hammered by a big, brutal-looking, curl-sconced guy with a bull neck who didn't give a damn about anything but punishing his tubs. Dean was clutching his head in the crowd, and it was a mad crowd. They were all urging that tenor man to hold it and keep it with cries and wild eyes. He was raising himself from a crouch and going down again with his horn, looping it up in a clear cry of furor. A 6-foot skinny woman was rolling her bones with the man's horn bell, and he just jabbed it at it, playing E. He had a foghorn tone. His horn was taped. He was a shipyard worker. He didn't care. And the tenor man jumped down from the platform and just stood buried in the crowd, blowing around. His hat was over his eyes. Somebody pushed it back for him. He just hauled back, stamped his foot, and blew down a hoarse, bawling blast, and drew breath, then raised the horn high and blew high, wide, and screaming in the air. Dean was directly in front of him with his face glued to the bell of the horn, clapping his hands, pouring sweat on the man's keys. And the man noticed and laughed in his horn, quivering, crazy mules, hee-haw, and everybody else laughed and they rocked. And finally the tenor man decided to blow his top, and crouched down and squatted on the floor and held a note high C for a long time as everything else crashed along, skiddly boom. and the cries increased. And I thought the cops would come swarming from the nearest precinct. The clock on the wall quivered, shook. Nobody cared about that pain. Dean was in a trance. Lieutenant Man's eyes were fixed straight on him. He had found a madman who not only understood but cared, and wanted to understand more and much more than there was. And they began dueling for this. Everything came out of the horn. No more phrases, just cries, cries.
Getting an LLC for your business doesn't have to look like this. Just Google LLC Taylor Brands. It's totally easy. You pick a state.
Parts of people's skull, a nose, an eyeball. That used to not shock me, but it used to give me pause. And now it's like, hand me the eyeball. He just squeezed through his front door and climbed, because his bedroom and bathroom are in the back there, and he just kept throwing his trash in the front room. And then I found part of his jaw and his tooth, and I grabbed it, and I went to throw it in the red bag, and she goes, no, I want it. The bathroom was, to this day, the worst I've ever seen. And then the next day we came to the job, and she was wearing it around her neck, and I was like, oh, it's now jewelry.
In Florida and all the other states of the U.S., when a crime happens, nobody comes to clean up the mess. That is until a new type of entrepreneur showed up. In this case, one woman who has now made $12 million in revenue this year doing the thing that nobody thinks about, cleaning up situations like this. Just goes to show, dirty business could be pretty profitable. I didn't know that there was a world in which a tragedy could happen or something crazy could happen, and the government didn't clean it up. Why did you start this business?
Well, I was actually, at the time, part of the government. When I was a police officer, someone asked me, when are you guys coming back to clean it up? And sadly, I didn't know the answer to the question. Law enforcement is prohibited from recommending any type of for-profit business, so they'll typically say, Google it. I started kind of looking into it, and I realized, oh my God, there's a niche here that no one's doing, and every single person on the planet is under the perception that law enforcement does it. So I knew that there was some type of business there to be had. It was meant to be a side gig. I never thought that it would become the animal that it is today. But I was making $42,000 a year, kind of living paycheck to paycheck, and slowly becoming more and more disgruntled. So I decided, to kind of do it as a side hustle, but then my police department gave me an ultimatum. They're like, hey, we don't want you working this side business, so pick. And I said, easy choice, I quit.
So from $42K, you didn't have a lot of extra income coming in to start a business, right?
No.
How much did it cost you to start? What did you need?
I found a school in Dallas, Texas at the time, and it was $2,500, and $2,500 was all I had in my savings account. You know what, I got to take a chance. So I went out there and I met these two guys that were in the class with me, and they said, hey, we just went to a bank and we got a $150,000 small business loan. So I went to 4 banks and they all said, no, not no, but hell no. So I had to get creative. So I went to the 5th bank and I lied, and I said, I need windows. How much can I get? And they're like, how much are the windows? And I'm like, and I just let them pick, and they wrote me a check for 15 grand.
Okay, so you had 15 grand, and where did that money go? Like rapid fire?
The 2,500 went to the training, of course. 2,200 went to the trailer. About 8,000 went to PPE and equipment.
And at that point, you were doing it yourself. You're like, all right,
by myself.
here I go.
You got it.
You basically took this PPE, your knowledge of being on site, and said, I'm going to create my own SOPs and processes in this industry after this school training happened. And then how'd you get that first gig?
It was actually, my shitty website was never found by anyone. So it was door to door. My first gig was at a Salvation Army. Guy died and decomposed in a recliner. And that was interesting, trying to carry a recliner by myself.
So what did your first job pay you? Your very first one?
That one,
a challenge for all of you. Go to every computer in your house, your mom's, your dad's, your sister, your brother's computer, and
Hello everyone, I'm Ken, that's Buff Pro, and today we're back with...
Do not know how to do
Wait,
it.
well, god dang. They twins? Hang on, let me look at it for a second. Lost who was who there for a minute. Oh yeah, they look a little different. They look very similar though.
I am on the alkaline diet. So, no, there's not much I can have on the menu. What's the alkaline diet?
Yeah, what the heck's an alkaline diet? That sounds like something you would do with your water. You get enough alkaline in my water? Or...
And Demetri eats pretty much vegan, so they have a certain pH, their body. And my body was a certain pH. So if you
yeah, that's nice. I'm thinking right now this girl's looking at her like, what? You worried about your pH?
say that again.
I don't
Yeast
have that,
infections.
but it could happen. That's what one of the concerns. That's one of the benefits of just getting us all alkaline and all the same pH.
God, she did join the cult. Jesus Christ.
Yes, you did.
Oh my God, we gotta have matching pH because you can get a yeast infection. Girl, with it, that's at least your problems with this family getting into, all right? Mary was
Don't
telling
drink
me
the
about
Kool-Aid, all right?
Kool-Aid. Mary was telling me about like all the current stuff that's going on, like fast. Like we're getting there. It's pretty. So old husband man, right?
Yeah.
Like they keep going through. Like this is Vanessa. They had like somebody else they were with before she showed up, but that person left. Vanessa ends up disappearing at some point. And then they get somebody else, and they just eventually the dude ends up alone. Even his wife leaves. Yeah.
What?
And now there's like these allegations of like that they like abuse basically. I think it's like domestic. Like they talk like whoever they bring into their family becomes like the maid, takes care of the kids.
Oh, it's a cult.
She's listening in right now. She's leaned over like like talking about it. All right.
Like us. Like, I'm a polygamist now, technically, and I'm still me. Still normal Vanessa.
I like this. I don't know if you noticed old girl's like facial expression. This her right here, she's been killing me this whole time. She's just like, what?
Say that again.
This level of scrutiny about my life, I feel like I'm on trial here or something, and having to defend every little thing. It's a little much.
She's already drank the Kool-Aid, man. She's already in. She's already in. And she tell you, man, this
Her
girl's
sister
face.
cannot have it. She's having it.
She's just like, what?
So I want to know, I'm sorry. Do the three of you sleep in the same bed together? No.
All right. This is coming out of love. We're concerned for you.
There's not a lot of room in many beds, for 3 people. It's a lot.
I can't. Maybe the king size bed. Maybe you can. I don't know. 3 of you. Still a lot of a lot of people.
Still, exactly.
Get that California king though. Then you can fit 3. They're pretty cool.
Partner, but then schedule dates with your partner based on the availability of the other partner and take turns. It's just too much.
It's too much. It's too much. I mean, it's not for everybody, I mean, I think it's the way you gotta do it though. Like if you're actually gonna be a polygamist, is that you just have to schedule it out so it feels fair for everyone. Because if it's just emotion and you happen to just be liking the other one a little more that week or something, then yes, it's gonna lead to problems.
Yeah, imagine Demetri's just sitting there, just like, winning.
It would be like freaking Garrick and them. That's what it would be like. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But you're not even with him yet, so you're really just kind of like a nanny and a housekeeper, or.
Ooh. I tell you, her face, dude.
Right there.
You just look at her face and see what the mood is anytime.
Oh yeah, the other sisters was like, oh no, she did it. Here we go.
Adrian's questioning, it feels especially judgmental and not coming from a caring place. Like she's already made up her mind. She thinks this is a terrible idea.
She's literally asking you, what do you get out of this? You just decide to move in with these people and you're just kind of there. Like, what? You're on their pH diet, girl. What are you getting out of this?
That's what she got out of that. The nice alkaline diet.
Adrian is big, and Ashley and I are both eccentric, and so are his children. Why are you getting so defensive? Am I not making some good points? I'm just asking.
Am I not making some good points as I have this steak knife in my hand?
Well, she saw the look on her sister's face. She's like, I better keep this right here. She's in a cult now. I don't know what's about to happen.
Trying to attack her and smash all her beliefs. I'm just trying to get to the truth that she's made the right choice. But I'm still waiting to be convinced. And if I see any more red flags, I'm going to point them out.
Heck yeah. That's what you.
I like that.
That that's what we've needed, like in the Garrick and large wife scenario here, is just someone to be like, hey, yo, this is messed up, instead of being like, oh, you know, I feel, maybe, maybe just a little bit of, no, God told me that that's how it's supposed to be. Oh, okay, yeah, right.
I'm looking for this specific family dynamic, and I'm gonna have it. And I want you to be happy for me. Because you love me, I'm your sister, and if I'm happy, you should be happy. That's the only...
No, that's not how it works. I should just do this terrible idea, and you should, just say yes, because you love me. I think it's because, say, if he was watching this video with Alex, maybe he would be like, they would be a little mean. I wonder if our idea would change. I don't think so. I kind of think, even before I knew how things up,